Hey guys, welcome back. We are in the newly released Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, MFS20 as it's most commonly referred to. We are doing our first flight on it. Big change compared to Prepare 3D and somewhat similar in terms of the setup and explain. I'm still finding my way around this sim, so unfortunately you're only going to be getting this view at the moment. We are flying in a different time to current time, but we are flying with real weather, and we are flying the default aircraft as there's no paywear in it as yet as it relates to aircrafts. Now, we took off from Barbados not too long ago, and we are landing in Argyle International Airport in St. Vincent, one of the newest airports in the Caribbean. I've never landed here in real life. I have no idea what to expect, so I'm gonna turn off the autopilot and hand fly the aircraft down to land. Hope you guys do enjoy. One thing about Microsoft Flight Sim is that it reads Bing's images of the airports and then inject them in the sim. If you're not someone with a good connection as it relates to the internet, there's an offline mode where you can download your route and the scenery in the route before you actually start your flight. That way you don't have to worry about glitches. I unfortunately suffer with bad internet at points. Sometimes you might see it actually cut out on me, and then you'll see a message come on basically saying you don't have an internet connection. I'm hoping it doesn't happen to me here, but it did happen on one of my flights earlier, and the reason for this is that just directly behind my house where the satellite dish actually faces is a line of very tall trees, and sometimes it's hard to get the signal between them. Now I'm hoping it's the runway that is just behind our compass there. If not, I'm just gonna fly around until I find it and then land. First impressions about the sim. It does have a few bugs. As I expected, it just launched less than 24 hours ago. It isn't as get up and go as I would like it to be. We had to map some controls from our rudder because my rudder wasn't recognized. My yoke was recognized, my throttle and stuff like that was recognized, but not my rudder, so I had to use that to set it up. Now, as it relates to camera views, I have never missed chase planes so much as I have today, and the camera settings are a little bit wonky on this. I probably need to watch a few more tutorials by some of the first people that had them, like the beta users and stuff like that, but for right now the camera isn't very dummy friendly. And when it comes to technology, sometimes I can be quite a dummy, and I'm not ashamed about it. Anyways, the default aircraft, they're not that bad. As far as default goes, oops, that's the wrong one. The autopilot can be hit or miss sometimes, but in all fairness, not many people actually buy a sim and with the intention of using just the default. Default is going to hold us until we actually have pay wear in. The GA is a little bit sensitive once you get over 40 knots when you're taxiing, so like if you're doing a takeoff run, you have to be very careful with the rudder. But for the jets, so far I haven't seen that issue. The nav data that we have at the moment is out of date, and Navigraph had said that they would be releasing an option for you to update the whole world in MFS, but I haven't seen that as yet. You can fly online with VATSIM, but VATSIM reported a few issues at the last minute in terms of really bad stutters and stuff like that. They were supposed to be available from the launch, but given what has happened, most people are probably just flying multiplayer, which doesn't require VATSIM. The thing that's gotten me is that I can see the direction of the runways for these airports. I can't see the direction of the runway for this one. So I'm hoping there's actually a runway there. We've got 16 miles to go. I'm really hoping that this is the runway that is directly ahead of me. That doesn't look like a runway. What I might do is just head over to St. Lucia, which is Tango Lima Papa Lima, if I don't see a runway here. In some cases, the airports might not be a true representation of what you know in real life. It all depends on how up to date the imagery is that Bing Maps have. So when I took off from Barbados, straight off I can tell, yeah, that's definitely not what Barbados looks like in real life. Some nice clouds. And what I might do is just fly around the island and have a look, and if I can find the airport, I'll land. If I can't find the airport, I head over to St. Lucia, which is just north of us. Or east rather. Actually, that's like a river that meets the sea. I was thinking it was a runway all the time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fly out a bit. I don't know if this is a bug, but for some reason I can actually see things through the pilot display. And we can actually go around the island this way. I just keep some altitude up. Good thing about this aircraft is that if I need to get down in a hurry, I can just cut and drop. Excuse my flying skills. It's not as easy as you would think it would be. And I'm gonna try to keep beneath these clouds, so I'm actually gonna go down. Can't be the runway there, can it? I actually want to take a better look there, because if that's the runway, it's gonna give me a whole set of grief. What I'm really impressed with is, look at that. In P3D I had to get mesh to get that look, and then I had to get land class from Orbits, and this is out of the box. I have no payware whatsoever, whether it be scenery, airports. I am really hoping that that's a runway right there. It looks like one. Alright, let's slope. But this is really, really beautiful. Yeah, it's a runway. Okay, chop. And now we drop. But look at that. And I got the wind coming off of the mountains now. Let's check my flaps. Full flaps. A bit high. Let's have some rudder. Excuse my pilot handling. This is my very first flight. Well, one thing that gets me though is every runway seems to have some kind of slope. Now I'm not sure if it's because of my internet that I might have gotten a bit of break in the download service, but this definitely is not right because I'm seeing like grass over the runway. But even if you've got to buy scenery for these airports, the scenery are very reasonably priced. I mean, like I saw Denver being sold for like €15, and if you had owned it before, it's actually about 10 US. And we are down. Did a little bit of fishtail there. That's why I was talking about the controls being a bit sensitive once you're over a certain speed. But we are down. Didn't mean to dead stop, but hey. Flaps coming up. And we made it to Argyle Airport. Now I'm pretty sure that this is how it looks like. But even if you look at this for default scenery, it's not that bad. I can actually go to all these airports and be quite happy. One of my biggest peeves with Prepared 3D was that I was only going to airports that I had bought because the default scenery in most cases were ghastly. They look like buildings with mildew on them, and if you don't know what mildew is, that's a Caribbean term for mold. So they had quite a few buildings. So even if these aren't accurate representations of the actual airport, it's decent enough, I think. Okay, strobes off. Where will we park? Let's go down here. Landing light off. Now we can just stop anyway here and shut down.